This is time and place for the city of Huron, South Dakota weekly meeting. It's June 6, 2022. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Smith is absent. Weinrice?
Here.
Sprague?
Here.
Robish?
Present.
Mayor Harrington?
Here. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of agenda. Do we have any adds or deletions or anything to the agenda tonight from anybody up here? That's almost a record. Okay, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Weinrich's motion is approved, second by Commissioner Robish. Roll call, please.
Weinrice?
Aye.
Sprague?
Aye.
Robish?
Aye.
Mayor Harrington?
Aye. Public forum, public comments may be sent during a live meeting broadcast on the city's YouTube channel. The link is listed in the city's website at www.huronsd.com/citygovernment. In order to use the YouTube chat feature, please create an account with your YouTube and Gmail or use your existing accounts. Please state your name and address for the record. Public forum is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person. Do anybody up here have any public forum tonight? Seeing none. I have a public forum. I've been asked to remind people that for our waste, to take the bottle caps off the bottles when we put them in our recyclables, and plastic bottles, by the way, not glass bottles, plastic bottles into the recyclables, so they're easy to, when we load them on our trucks, they aren't taking up so much space. So if we do that, and I know, do we have some more public forum back there in the back in the orange shirt? You can come up, sir.
I wasn't sure if I was the only one.
You're always a little.
Huh?
You're in line.
Rob Rieger, City Huron, Water Sewer Superintendent. I'm here again tonight to talk about sump pumps and the removal of your sump pump from the sanitary sewer. And I don't know if people understand how much water a sump pump actually moves. Your sump pump runs and you don't really give it much thought. But I ran some numbers today, so I went up, we've got some sump pumps upstairs at the shop. 1/3 horse sump pump can move anywhere between 1,400 gallons to 3,600 gallons an hour. That's if it runs the whole time. So for instance, if your sump pump runs 15 minutes in an hour, that calculates to 12,000 gallons a day. 12,000 gallons a day. So if 100 people do that, that's 1.2 million gallons of water that I'm getting extra. And it's just unbelievable the amount of water. If we get a 1/2 inch rain, I've got 4 or 5 lift stations that it'll take 2 days to catch up. So I'd like everybody to help me help you. If you're pumping to the sanitary sewer, you're probably gonna eventually back up your house, your neighbor's house, somebody in your neighborhood, because I can't handle all the flow. The system's designed to handle 100 gallons per person per day. So a family of 4 is 400 gallons a day. Well, if your sump pump's, running 2 minutes a day, that's 1,600 gallons a day. That's 4 times what I'm expecting, plus what's your regular. So, we're looking for all the help we can get. A lot of people say that they can't afford to plumb it outside or whatever. You can't afford to have a sewer backup in your basement. You want to talk money? So if people don't know what to do or don't understand what to do, they can call my office, they can call utility billing. I'll get somebody out there, give you some advice, whatever. But if we don't get this problem fixed, the next thing I have to do is I have to upsize the infrastructure, which means I'm gonna need to put in another lift station or two. I'm gonna have to upsize some pipe, 2 miles of pipe, 10-inch pipe. We're talking about a $4 or $5 million project.
So they
Which
pump,
which means your rates will go up. I'm just saying,
so they pump it, you want them to pump it directly outside?
right outside,
Yeah.
right to the
curb?
street, right to the curb,
Yeah. No more in the
Whatever.
basement.
you know. So the city ordinance reads, no person may discharge any stormwater, surface water, roof runoff, subsurface drainage, cooling water, sump pump water to the sanitary sewer. That says no person, nobody. No grandfathered in, no. My house was built with drain tile and it's plumbed right to the sanitary sewer. Well, if you know that, you're in violation. It says so in the ordinance. So, if you have any questions, call me. On the website, my number's on the website. It's everywhere. Yeah, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to call me or anybody in my department. We'll get somebody out there and take a look at it.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
Rob, appreciate it. Okay. Up next, we have a proclamation, and, which is really interesting because it's a 100-year proclamation for the Lions Club. And last week, we had 100 years for the antique radio thing, so it seems like we're getting things at 100 years at a time now, so, which is pretty good, I guess. But so if Frank Valeria, who is here tonight, would come up, we would do this
I
proclamation.
wonder if we could get a picture, you wanna get a picture for the paper, or?
Yeah, we do that afterwards.
I got a sign. See the sign?
You brought props?
I did.
Well, move your prop that way a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, like that, right near this microphone here for you. Okay. Huron's Lions Club, the 100th anniversary. Whereas the Huron Lions Club organization organized in January 1922, and whereas the Huron Lions Club will be celebrating a 100-year anniversary during the banquet on June 11th, 2022. Whereas the Lions become particularly identified with their efforts on behalf of the blind, activities that emphasize sight conservation, leader dog training, and youth activities. And whereas the Lions also collect and purchase eyeglasses for those in need, provide diabetic screenings for preschool children, contribute to a wide range of specific projects for the benefit of the entire community, including a generous donation to the creation of the South Dakota State Fair Dex building, and whereas the city of Huron commends all members of the Lions Club for the contributions they have made to the public through leadership and community service through the past 100 years for years to come. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Gary Harrington, Mayor of the City of Huron, South Dakota, do hereby proclaim June 5th through the 11th, 2022 as Huron Lions Club Week in celebration of the 100th anniversary. I have herein set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Huron to be fixed on the 6th day of June in the year of our Lord 2022. So with that, Frank,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. This picture's taken. And,
Oh, well, it was that way, yes.
oh, it's
1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot, appreciate it.
So it's good to have clubs in our community that want to go out and give their time to do things like that. So that's a special time when we have people that will step up and help our community, help the people that need help. So appreciate that. I'll put glasses on and do some work here. Consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and will be acted upon by the commission at one time without discussion unless a member of the commission requests an opportunity to address any given item. Items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. 4.1, minutes of the May 23rd City Commission meeting. 4.2, fuel quotes for city departments. 4.3, appointment of Crystal Valgustenson to the Community Improvement Committee and Dr. Josh Carr to the Green Energy Task Force. 4.4, personal items. Accept the resignation in Park and Recreational seasonal positions. Number 2, accept the resignation of Mike Jules from the Park and Maintenance 2 position. Number 3, open and advertise Central Park Maintenance 2 position. 4, recommend approval of James Cutshaw to the WSI Supervisor. 5, recommend hiring Madison Hofer for the softball maintenance. 6, recommend hiring Celeste Borgen for concessions. 7, recommend hiring Jamie O'Neill for seasonal park maintenance. 8, recommend hiring Shelby Langbeam for the Broadland Creek Pro Shop position. 9, promote Jason Branner to street foreman position. 10, acknowledge that the police officer Brian Reff has completed his probationary period and is eligible for supplementary benefits. 11, recommend a wage correction for Nathan Lyon for concession manager. 12, correction for Madison Perry for concession position. 13, correct Christina Johnson to the lifeguard position. 14, hire date correction for Beverly Dunn, library technician. 4.5, payment of the bills. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent.
Commissioner Bragg moves to approve. Need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Weinrich. Roll call vote, please.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Moving on to bid quote items. 5.1, Assistant Engineer Dennis Bennett, would you please refer to what this is?
Yep, thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. This is progress payment for our wastewater treatment facilities improvements. A lot of this is for the pre-treatment building. We're approximately 50% done in the pre-treatment building. And this payment is for $924,793. Recommend approval.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
Move to approve 5.1.
Okay, Commissioner Robish moves to approve. Need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Weinrich. Any discussion on this item for Dennis? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Moving on, petitions and communications. 6.1, Financial Director Pauline Carey will tell us what this one is all about.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just a public hearing on a transfer. They're just switching from private ownership to an incorporation. There's no comments, and so we do recommend approval.
Okay. Need a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Robish, motion to approve. Need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Bragg. Any discussion on this item?
Just a
Yes,
Okay.
Commissioner Bragg.
just a name change, correct? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. 6.2, Barry Kranzler, he will tell us what 6.2 is today.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is to consider an easement and release of waiver agreement with Harlan Haub for an existing fence structure and authorize the mayor to sign. As you, in your packet, there is a picture that shows the fence location. The fence encroaches into a right-of-way by about 18 inches. This is an older fence. that kind of predates our existing ordinance. And so rather than continue to allow it to be grandfathered in, we thought we better get at least a waiver of liability. So that the city, if something does get damaged when we're running equipment through the alley, we have some protection against any liability there. You can see in the sketch, the drawing there from the survey, where the encroachment is on the east side of the house, on the alley side. And in the picture, you can see what they've done is they've actually built their fence around the Northwestern utility pole there, but the CenturyLink box there, the phone box there, is actually in the alleyway. Right behind that utility box is and to the inside of the fence line is where their property line is actually at. So with that, I know that Ted Haug is here representing his father. If there are any questions, maybe Ted can clarify any information, but we would recommend approval. I've looked at this, and Dennis and I have visited just briefly about it, and so I think this is the appropriate way to protect the city going forward.
Okay. Need a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Commissioner Bragg, need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Weinrich. Any questions on this topic? I see Ted's here, so. Any questions for Barry or Ted or on this option?
I guess I would just
Yes,
ask.
Commissioner Brothers, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm sure you talked with them and you're fine with it?
Yeah, we just, yeah.
That's what I
It
thought.
was always there, and we just, this was news.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's fine, yeah.
And it's not, more or less, it's not the conversation for these guys, it's for the people listening. So,
Okay, any other questions for Barry or Ted on this item? See no items, a roll call vote, please.
Heinrich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Moving on to 7.1, ordinances and resolutions. Our city attorney Tucker Valesky is here tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. 7.1, public hearing to consider resolution number 2022-09, annexation petition filed by Northwestern Corporation for the peaking plant located at 40209 US Highway 14 East. As indicated from the minutes of the Joint Planning Commission contained in the packet, this annexation was an agreement with the city as a Northwestern Public Service wanted sewer service. And the Joint Planning Commission did approve the annexation petition.
Okay, motion to approve.
I'd move to approve.
Move to approve. Commissioner Rovers, need a second on this item?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Weinrich. Any discussion on this item? Yes, Commissioner Bragg.
So just, do we expect as the other properties in the Rest Advantage Park come online, that this will be something similar, that they will be annexed in as there's a use for them? Or,
The Vantage Park has been previously annexed.
so what other properties are
So
on this?
the only remaining properties that are not annexed in currently in that small sector, that cluster, is the property that is currently a church, which is the old cowboy museum, if you will. And then the CHS tank farm is not being annexed at this time.
Do they, as far as we know, is that something that?
As far as we know, they have not had any interest in bringing that tank farm into city limits.
Just looking at, eventually trying to not have those little piecemeal
Right.
spots throughout.
Right. But this was a previous agreement that Northwestern and the city had kind of had a handshake deal while they were under construction, and so this kind of solidifies it and brings everything to a head.
Any other questions on this item? Financial Director Paul Carey and I were invited to ribbon cutting today, went out to the place, what we exercised, we brought into the city. Very, very impressive setting out there. Those 6 huge Caterpillar engines are quite impressive, and they didn't have, obviously didn't have them on today when we were there because they said we couldn't hear each other if we turned them on, but it's very impressive. So I look forward to having them for many years in our city. With that, roll call vote, please.
Weinrich?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Robish?
Aye.
Mayor Harrington?
Aye. Okay, moving on to 8. 8.1, Nathan Hofer is going to talk to us about this, our HR director.
So this is our renewal for our work comp agreement, essentially. And the only change that they made to it was that they did extend coverage to people that are traveling internationally while they are, abroad. So other than that, it's pretty much the same. So with that change, I just recommend approval. We don't have to many people or anybody ever that travels abroad, but they did put it in there, so I figured we'd mention it. That was the only change. So. Yeah, you're not getting a plane.
I'm ready.
Where do we go next?
All right. Need a motion to approve.
Move to approve 8.1.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on? We got roll call vote.
Weinrich?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Robish?
Aye.
Mayor Harrington?
Aye. Passed. 8.1 passed. All right, we have 8.2. I asked for, because I was getting quite a few people contacting us, and after the deal in Texas where all the kids got killed, if we had plans or did any development on how we would handle something like that. So I asked Kevin to come in and kind of give us an update on, what we are, as what we've planned for, and hopefully we don't have to use it, but as part of police work is you have to look down the road even though you may never use it. So Kevin, please give us a little bit of an update that you have.
Thank you, Mayor. Just so you all know, the police department's still 2 officers short. With the national stigma with law enforcement, it's getting tougher and tougher to find people to work for us. You have a few bad officers around the country that are affecting the rest of us. I truly feel that the officers we have in here are very well trained officers. They're ready to do the job when they're called upon. We just put another officer into the school. Our second SRO is Tanner Dornicker. He'll be in an office at the middle school. The mayor asked me to talk about the training we're going to. Last year I budgeted $16,000 for training. Of that, $4,000 comes out for the hiring incentive for the officers, so that leaves us $12,000. We have 2 officers going to the DARE program this summer. Luckily, that's supplied by the state of South Dakota. Law enforcement training pays for that. We just have to pay their wages and travel back and forth. We have 2 officers going to Iowa to what's called ALICE training, which is the active shooter stuff for inside businesses, schools, anywhere else. Luckily, the school, when we talked to Dr. Steinhoff, he agreed to pay the tuition of one of our officers to go, the school resource officer, the first one. Tuition for that is $750 per person. So when you look at the $12,000 budget, and we have 2 officers going to it, by the time we're done, it's about $3,000 to send them to that. The school said they would pay the tuition, we have to pay the hotels, the travel, the meals, everything else. We're also sending an officer to Nebraska for a federal program to teach officers to respond on the outside of a facility, be it City Hall or anywhere else, how to handle the situation on the outside of the facility. At the same time, we're sending officers to basic perimeter schools. That one is in Quantico, Virginia. So you can see where my $12,000 budget goes away very, very quickly. The federal government said that they will pay part of that, but we have to pay airfare, meals, lodging for that one. So we're hoping that they'll put one on locally that wouldn't be so bad. Earlier this year, we trained every single officer in the police department on a force-on-force training. They went to the campus center, and they had people in there that were set up, so when you approach them, they would fire at you with some airsoft pistols that we have. When we talk about the airsoft pistols, not the ones you get in the store, ours are CO2 driven. So when you take a CO2 round, you will probably bleed. So the officers know that they've been fired upon. Equipment wise, every year I sit down at capital assets with the finance officer. We get a federal grant to pay half of our our body armor that the officers all are issued. Problem with that is the cost went from $700 a piece to $1,100 each with everything going on in the last 2 years. And every 5 years, we have to replace every single officer's vest that they wear because they won't insure it after that. So if there's an insurance policy to cover body armor, I would love to have it be extended, but it's not. And for the safety of the officers, we're gonna keep spending the money on it. Body cameras, and I get this all the time from the public, you know, are you videotaping this? Every single contact with a citizen in Huron is videotaped by 2 cameras. One is a body camera that the officers wear, the other is a camera that's in the car. When you activate one, it activates the other. And that's what came out of the budget this year is we had a grant for about $42,000 and the city spent another $50,000 on the camera system. So we have those all up and running, every officer has them, so we spent $100,000 in that. And what we're doing is we're making it safe not only for the people in the community, but also us, because we can document any evidence that we see on a scene or any complaint that comes out of the public. So we make sure the officers are doing exactly what they should be doing out there. Weapons, we replaced our duty handguns, I believe it was 2 years ago. We traded in our old ones. They have a lifespan of anywhere from 5 to 7 years. And that costs about $700 a piece. Like I said, the training is a big one. When we look at our budget, of course our budget includes a ton of wages and everything else, patrol guards and stuff like that. But the important stuff that I see in our budget is the body cameras, the car cameras, and the body armor. So that our officers are protected when they're out there and that they can engage any situation that comes up. So they're not standing behind a tree trying to protect somebody, you know, a person in the community. Their job is to go and engage a situation like that. Most people run away from it. Our officers are trained to run into it. It's kind of like a fireman. They don't run out, they run in. And that's what the officers should be doing also. So I truly believe that our officers are trained the best they can. If we wanted to spend $100,000 a year, I could send them to more training. There's always a need for more and more training, but we have to look at the budget and try to get the best penny for everybody to go out there and do that. But I truly believe that these officers are trained the best that they can be right now.
And Kevin, you made a statement to me here a week or so ago that you feel that the armor is the best you can buy.
It is. It fits the national standards. We have to get reimbursed out of the $1,100. It's a level 2 body armor that the officers are wearing. It's an external carrier vest because that helps their back. The body armor is the lightest that's currently made that's out there for the level 2 body armor. There's a level 3 which has the Kevlar plates and everything else that goes with it, but they wouldn't be able to bend in those vests when they're out working the streets. It's definitely, for what we're paying, we're getting top of the line stuff.
Any questions for Kevin?
I don't have any questions. I have a couple comments.
Well, we can go with comments.
Okay, thank you. Well, kind of like our police department, our fire department, even our solid waste, wastewater, there's training in all that. In every department, there's training in every department. In the police department and the fire department, their training is, they probably have more training in those 2 departments than the other departments. And they probably use the least that they go and train for. Like Rob's people, they use it every day, what they're trained to do. Check the water, check the sewer, check the waste, whatever. They're trained to do that, and they do that every day. These guys train in the fire department. They train every day and hope they never use it. And there's a fine line there between how much we can afford to do and how much we can't afford to do. And I'm with the chief there. I guess I worked very close hand in hand with the police department and the fire department for quite a few years, and I'm very confident in. Will we stop everything that happens? Absolutely not. You can't. You can't stop it. You can hope to contain it, and you can hope to be ready and be aware for that. And I'm fully comfortable that we are there. That doesn't mean that we can stop and whatever. But I'm very confident in our fire department and our police department and their training and their ability to take on. We used to have a SWAT team that was called not just for our area, because of the performance that our SWAT team has done. We've gone on and done several SWAT adventures that were not in our area because of how they handled it. So I have the confidence in them, and I hope the public can see that too.
Very good. Okay, thanks, Kevin, appreciate it, good job, thank you. And for the first time in quite some time, we don't have a work session tonight, so take advantage of this because we're gonna be coming up doing budget and everything else here real soon, so we'll be working late. So that's all we got tonight. Thank you, see you next week.